Yeah. All right. Okay, we're live. Sweet. Make sure I'm in focus and everything. Switching up the background a little bit. Going with blue tonight. How's everyone doing? My name is Jordan P. Anderson. Thank you guys for watching. If this is the first time you're watching, I am a marketer, digital marketer, content creator who helps photographers, mainly helps wedding photographers with their pricing. And today we're going to be talking about how to deal with price shoppers. And I'll explain what a price shopper is. I think we all kind of know what a price shopper is, but it helps. We're gonna dive into these main lessons that I have here. Let me switch over to my slideshow. It's Friday. I typically and usually like Friday live streams. I usually have a good bump of folks watching. So if you're watching, thank you very much. Instagram Live, thank you very much for watching. And let me switch over real quick. Oh, my goal. Oh gosh, I didn't do a goal today. I'm realizing I made this PowerPoint and I forgot to fill out the goal. Silly me. All right, let's dive into it, folks. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how to dealing. Let me start over. So today we're going to be talking about how to deal with price shoppers. Price shoppers are not necessarily our friend when it comes to our creative services and selling our content and selling our photography and videography services. We kind of want to stay away from these types of people, and I will explain why. But first, there is no goal. I forgot to put the goal, but there is a lesson plan. So that's the most important. At least we have some kind of structure. Today's lesson plan is what's a price shopper. We're going to be going over let's first kind of lay the groundwork of what actually a price shopper is, how to interact with these price shoppers, when to play ball, when to actually, because sometimes you want to dismiss them, sometimes you want to bring them into your world. And the reasons, number 4, the reasons why you're attracting price shoppers. It might be something with what you're doing with your brand, with your website, and we'll go over the kind of what you can do on your end, what the economics of it all depends on, how you are attracting price shoppers. So let's kind of dive into it. Oh, and I still have an old slide. There we go. So lesson number 1, what are price shoppers? So price shoppers, they typically ask this type of question: how much do you charge? Price shoppers, all they care about is price. They care about price. They don't care about value. And when I was writing this slideshow, I kind of realized that price and value kind of had this from a retail standpoint, they have the same meaning. I'm looking for a good value. Like when you're shopping groceries or when you're at Costco or something, like when you say I'm shopping for a good price or I'm shopping for a good value, that kind of means the same thing. In the creative service world, in the service business, service industry, price and value, I want to kind of distinguish those two different things. There's the price, how much it actually costs, and the value, kind of what you get with the services that are rendered. Usually with price shoppers, they don't know you and they don't really care about what you offer. You'll find yourself in these kind of conversations with price shoppers that you want to do your sales pitch, or you want to ask what you liked about my work, or kind of what brought you into my world, or how'd you find me. And the answers are either they try to not answer it at all, or they don't really. It's just kind of a washed down answer, or they just flat out haven't seen your work, don't really know what you do. They kind of just found you on a list, or maybe they found you on Wedding Wire or Craigslist or whatever. There's just this, that's kind of the telltale signs, and we'll talk. I have a whole list of what the telltale signs of a price shopper are. But the biggest standout is they just don't really care to get to know you, or they don't really care to kind of invest in this relationship. Because a lot of times if we're shooting weddings, if it's a very intense relationship, we're at one of the most intimate moments of someone's life, and if someone doesn't really care to get to know you, or care to get to know your work, or where you come from, or your background, then that might be kind of a warning sign that you kind of are dealing with a price shopper. Another example, so to go back and distinguish, price shoppers just care about price. Value shoppers, when I say value shoppers in this conversation, value shoppers is one who cares about the quality, they care about the outcomes, they care about doing good work, they care about, in sort of a business sense, they care about the sales from this project, they care about the marketing, they care about new signups, new customer leads, all that stuff. when it's just price, when you hear someone just talking about price or budget, we got to stay within this budget. That again, that's another sign that they are price shoppers. So here's kind of a list of typical price shoppers that you're going to kind of encounter, whether or not you're a wedding photographer or you work in the commercial world or documentary world. Number one is just budget conscious people. We all know what budget conscious people are. These are people just looking for a good deal. They like to clip coupons. I'm not going to make any judgments. I like to be a budget conscious person, so I'm not going to cast judgment. But these are people that just, hey, we have a certain budget. This is how much we can spend. Can you work with it? I'm not saying all price shoppers are bad. Number one, I would think it is very pleasing and reasonable. Just, hey, we have this much money. What can you do? Just kind of work within this budget. That's all we have. Okay, that's fine. Middle managers, number two. Why did I say middle managers? So middle managers are this typically happens in the commercial world, but sometimes you'll get in a sales conversation with a middle manager and not realize it, thinking that you're talking to a decision maker, thinking that you're talking to someone who has the power of the purse, who has money, who has control over the budget, control over the money, and you're talking with them, you're explaining the project, you're explaining what you can do for them to help solve their problem. Maybe they're asking you to do a video project or a photography project, and then you start to ask the kind of deeper questions or like the in-depth questions or something that a CEO, the owner of the company, or someone who actually can control or change the outcome of the business or have some kind of key decision-making power. You start to ask those questions, and then they start to kind of back off a little bit, or kind of, well, okay, I'll have to talk to my boss about this, or I'll have to talk with my other team, or I'm kind of only mandated, I only have this much budget to work with for this quarter. This is how much I have to work with. And that's going to be a price shopper because they don't have any power. They can't change the budget. If you give them a higher price, it's just kind of shit out of luck. You can't work with them at all because they're how they look at it, like their job is on the line. They have to find someone within a good budget, and they have to find someone who can do a decent enough job. So they don't really care about how good someone is or how the outcomes that they're going to get. All they really care about is, hey, look, boss, I stay within budget, and I got you your photographer that you're looking for. That's all they care about. Number three, people gathering quotes. This is, again, you can find this in middle managers, but, this also happens with wedding clients as well. People will go and they will just blast email, copy-paste email, and then they're talking to every single person, every photographer in town, trying to just gather quotes. Or this sometimes in corporate world, this is called procurement, or in the government world is procurement, where they are required to get a certain amount of quotes. Like, we have to have at least 3 different quotes from 3 different vendors in order to move forward or make a decision. You can't just, in some of these, I don't know why it is, but in some of these big businesses, they want you to say, can't just say like, okay, let's just go with Jordan. He's cool. He makes great content. They have to go Jordan, Sam, and Tina, and then choose one of the 3 or whatever. Those types of people just care about the price. Number 4 is a more in general thing. Though we're going to talk about this later, but those who see you as fungible. And what is fungible? Fungible just is an economic term, meaning, are you interchangeable? If you go to the grocery store and you're looking at bananas, what is the difference between this bunch of bananas and that bunch of bananas? Not much of a difference. And if this bunch of bananas was 5 cents cheaper, you'd probably go with that one because you can't really tell the difference. And then number 5 is just plain old stingy cheapos. That's pretty easy to spot. These people, some of these people may have a lot of money. Some of these people may or may not have a lot of money, but they just have this very kind of poor mindset, a poor man's mindset, where they just care about nickeling and diming and making sure that they can get a good deal, or they got you to come, $500 down. They're just a pain in the ass. All right, let's move on to. So lesson number 2 is how to interact with these price shoppers. How exactly, because Jordan, you just kind of listed off some worst case scenarios, some pain in the ass people. To me, it sounds like, Jordan, I don't want to interact with any of these types of people. All right, well, that is kind of what I'm trying to say here. But always, no matter what you do, always treat your clients with respect, no matter what. I don't care, it was so I kind of give people the benefit of the doubt, but I've done sales emails before. I've sent out the cold emails to people, and I just don't. And sometimes I do pitch emails, or I'll say like, hey, love for you to come on my podcast, or love for you to check this out, or get your opinion on this. And some people will just come back with nasty stuff, like I'm a complete stranger, and I know, like, it's not like I'm just reaching you out of the blue. Like, I've researched you, I know who you are. I'm deliberately reaching out to you. And maybe this is an aside for me, just like because I felt personal about this. But always treat your clients with respect. Like, if you don't know someone and they're spamming you, just say, hey, no thanks. You don't have to say like, how dare you email me, or like, don't you like you were so rude, or you were so annoying. Because some people on the other end are like me, it's just like, I genuinely just want to talk to you, or just genuinely have a conversation because I was curious about how you did something, or get you on my podcast. And then they always reply like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have replied to an email. I was hungry. I was sleepy. I was tired. And never again. It's like, no, just, okay. Sorry. That's my pain in the ass. That's my little like aside. Like I had to get that off my chest. Always treat your clients with respect. If they come in asking for price, just deal with it quick and painlessly. That's kind of my that's the easiest thing I can say. Easiest quick little tip when you come in contact with a price shopper, because usually the first thing they say is, they all, like I said at the very beginning, they'll come in and say, how much do you charge? How much do you charge? What's the price? What's your price? What's your budget? What do you normally charge? And you haven't really had a chance to get to know these people. You're trying to understand their problem, and they're not really caring to tell you about their problem. They just want to know, what is your price? What is your price? What is your price? So either find out what their price is, or find out what their budget is by asking questions like, so what budget are you trying to stay within? And I will show you here what the wrong answers are. You want to ask this question, get it out of the way, because this answer is probably everything. I've sent a couple quotes this week, and I even make this mistake to this day. Like, I talked to someone, I anchored, I raised my prices, on the phone I said I threw out a big number just to get them used to, or get them expecting some big number proposal. Sent the proposal that had the big number, so it didn't come as a surprise, and they were still not upfront enough with the budget, or they didn't feel like telling me what the budget was. So I didn't. So all my options were out of the water. They were trying to do 4 videos, and all 3 options that I submitted were, even the lowest one was completely out of their budget. So I'll show you how I responded to that, but it's important that you ask this question, and here are the wrong answers to this question: what budget are you trying to stay within, or however you phrase it. So wrong answers are, we don't have one. I can't work with you if you don't have a budget. If you don't know how much you're going to spend, or if you're a middle manager, for example, or you're just like, I can't work with that. I have to know what to work within, or you have to tell me what you consider to be expensive, inexpensive, within range. Because when I usually hear that number, we don't have one, I go, cool, how does $50,000 sound? And they go, okay, well, that's a little too high. I was like, okay, so you do have a budget. What is your budget? Do you have a budget? If they don't, like, some people will just shy away from this answer. They feel like they can't answer the question because they're afraid that if you just say, okay, well, our budget is $5,000 to $10,000, you'll go, great, my prices are $5,000 to $10,000. I don't see the problem with that. If you just if you're listening to this and you are a price shopper, if you're a client out there, just tell people your budget. It's fine. Like, we'll work within your budget. We're not here to scam you. We're not here to shave some money off the top and make more profit. We just want to know what we can work within. Number 2 is they give you a really bottom shelf price. Sometimes, let's say a project, I need you to come in and shoot, Jordan, I need you to make 5 videos for me. And okay, I'll say, okay, well, 5 videos, that's fine. What kind of budget are you trying to stay within? Well, we want you to make 5 videos for $1,000. I go, cool, that ain't gonna happen. And then that's where I just say quick and painless, so you just like get off the phone and say, like, yep, this is probably not gonna work. You probably need to go find someone else, find a college kid, find someone on Fiverr. We are priced, and this is where it's always good to have kind of a minimum price that you always start at. no matter what the project is. Like, I won't get out of bed. I won't start my day. I won't work for you as a freelancer for less than this number. So you can throw that number out if you'd like. Number 3, they will say the wrong answer. This is the wrong answer. They'll say, oh, we're shopping around. I'll say, what price do you have? What's your budget? They say we're shopping around, or they'll, this kind of ties into number 4 too. We got a quote from another, but the idea that you are not the only person in the world, or that you are not, or that there are that you might possibly be in some mystery competition that you didn't sign up for, so now you're in competition with 3 to 5 other possible videographer, content creators, photographers that you don't even know. You don't know how to price yourself. You don't know how to. You're just like, oh, okay, you're shopping around. All right, well, when you're done shopping around, you want to talk more, or you decided to go with me. Let's kind of talk further about that. But I don't really do pitches. I don't really do this kind of round robin or group call or give away free ideas, or I'll give you a quick proposal. But in terms of, if you don't have your budget, if you don't know what you're talking about, and you're just shopping around trying to get prices, this also is a very familiar pattern with procurement and middle managers. Like, another reason when I hear we're shopping around as a bad sign is that they say we're shopping around also ties into, like, we don't have a budget. We don't really know what we're looking for, or we kind of started this project, or our boss said, hey, we should make a video, and now we're trying to look around, shop around. We don't really know how much a video costs or how much we should spend on a video. So we're just shopping around, or we just want a couple videographers in town to give us some quotes, so that way we can then go to other videographers and bounce off them and play ping pong off them and try to get them to lower their prices, which I think is that's kind of a dick move. That's what I hear when I say we're shopping around as well, that they don't really know and they are just trying to steal or hear what your pricing methodology is. Number 4, we got a quote from another photographer. We got a quote from, we were talking with another photographer. They wanted to give us, they quoted us at for the 5 videos, Jordan, we got another quote from another video production house. They said their budget's $1,000 to $5,000. Is that something you can do? Is that something you can work within? Usually my response to that is, okay, yeah. Here, I'll switch over to the slide so you can see that we got another quote from someone. Usually my response to that is, okay, yeah, sure, like, great. Like, they sound like a great video production company. They I'm sure the prices that they have are great. Yeah, why don't you go with them? Why don't you go reach out to them, and I'm sure you'd have a great time with them. Cool, thank you very much. And I'm not gonna compete with them, or I'm not gonna, again, like, I don't do pitches. I'm not going to do that kind of back and forth competing, lowest price wins kind of bidding war. They sound like a great production company. Why don't you go hire them? And usually that is kind of followed by either they're bluffing or they would just go on their way and do that. So like I said, if you deal with these kind of price shoppers, like, quick and painless, like, do a little jujitsu, like, okay, and you're out of here. And number 5, a deadly sign, and we've talked about discounts before on my daily email. Looking for discounts early. If this is the first time I've worked with you, you don't get discounts. Discounts are for loyal customers. If I don't know you, you're going to pay full price. Okay? Discounts if they're looking for discounts or codes, coupon codes. Okay, if I buy this, I've talked about how to deal with discounts. You can, if they want to buy in bulk. If you want to book everything right now, if you want to pay up front 100% right now, I can give you a discount. But just to give you a discount because, hey, you're looking for a deal, or hey, come on, this project isn't that big, or can you come down on your price a little bit? Look, like, hey, if you can't afford this, or if you can't afford my prices right now, then you're not going to be able to afford the overages, or you're not going to be able to afford the overtime when I'm having to go to round 6 of your edit because, you didn't like cut 1 through 5, so now we're at round 6 and you're still wanting to pay for more editing time. So if you can't afford that, or if you feel like I need to take $500 off the price just to make it work, then we're probably not best for each other. Go find someone else. Go find another budget-friendly videographer. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Yep, and here's a great line. Steal this line. You can say like, okay, well, there's plenty. When someone gives you just bottom shelf prices, always just say something like, and don't be a dick. Say, don't get offended. Here's what. I'll tell you what I had the same call, this exact call yesterday. But you just say like, okay, well, there are plenty of great options on Fiverr. There's plenty of great options on Craigslist. I'm sure you can get a college kid to do this for pretty cheap. This actually isn't that complicated. Okay, so yeah, are we done here? Thanks very much. The tendency to happen, like when they tell you that you are too high or your budget is, or like we're out of budget, or this is not like. The tendency is to want to get mad sometimes, or if you spent a lot of time on building a quote, and that's why I say don't spend a lot of time building a quote, just send out the one-page proposal. You can find the one-page proposal in the Perfect Wedding Package, and it's just, don't waste your time writing these deep, detailed quotes, and when they tell you that, we're out of budget or we can't afford you, don't get offended, don't call them a dick, don't be a dick, don't say, okay, well, when you can't afford me, this is what I wanted to say yesterday on the call. I wanted to be like, okay, well, if you call me back when you can afford me. I was like, that. I'm glad I didn't say that because that just comes off as nasty. So again, back to the rule earlier: treat your clients with respect, always. Even if they don't become your clients, treat them with respect. Because that's how you want some respect too. We all want respect. Again, get off the phone ASAP. Don't waste your time. Don't invest so much time into this whole process thinking you have to be on the phone. Maybe you just need to uncover some more information from them. Again, they don't give a shit, dude. They just care about price. Now we're going to move on to lesson number 3, when to actually play the ball with the price shopper. I'm going to take a water break real quick. How are we doing, folks? We're on Instagram Live. We're watching. Let me check to see if YouTube has questions. If you have questions in the chat, leave them below. And we're talking about price. We're talking about price shopping. And I'm taking a quick water break. And I forget there's a 20-second delay on YouTube. Hi, Instagram Live. How's it going? All right. Cool. And let me switch over. So when to actually play ball. Lesson number 3, when to play ball with price shoppers. I would be crazy to say, like, never talk to price shoppers, or I would be just this, what are you, Jordan, like a fucking millionaire videographer? Why do you need a job? You're telling me never deal with price shoppers? Come on, dude, I got to pay rent. Like, I got clients, but these are all price shoppers. Like, I got to deal with some of these people. Yes, I agree. No, I'm not a millionaire videographer. I want to be realistic. I want to give you guys some expectations of how to actually, because there are some exceptions on when you should deal with price shoppers. Now, a great example when dealing with a price shopper is when the project is just stupid simple. It's something, it may be a little bit below your skill level. It may be a little bit beneath you, or this is a little bit boring. But if it comes off as stupid simple, then and it requires very little resources of you in terms of time or equipment or any upfront costs that you got to incur, I'd say go for it. Or say give it a shot, because there are some jobs out there. One recent job I did, I just shot. It wasn't a music video that I shot, but it was some guy had a listing party in downtown DC. The guy was paying. I said, cool, I'll be there tonight. If you can pay up front, I'll come and film your guy. I'll hand over the footage, no editing on my end. And it was stupid simple. I just showed up. He paid up front. I shot it, handed over the footage, and that was it. It was, it wasn't like the crazy, most exciting project, or like I didn't really know what was going on. But it was fine. It was stupid simple. So in that and all we talked about, they liked my work to an extent. They didn't know too much about my work. They were just kind of in a pinch and said, "Hey, can you show up? Can you shoot? You got your own camera? Cool. That's it. Stupid simple." So that's one example of when to actually play ball with a price shopper. Again, when you can get the money up front. If these people are so worried about pricing and so worried about how much you're going to charge, what you're worth, how much you're going to charge, what's the price, say, hey, I'll work for you. You sound like a pain in the ass, but if I can get all the money up front, if I send this contract to you right now, and I will then send a whatever QuickBooks payment or PayPal payment, and you send me all the money 100% up front, let's do business. We can make this project happen. Because that way it takes the kind of the pain of dealing with these types of people, because they're usually, when they are price shoppers, they also are just not good clients typically. They just don't really, again, they didn't care about your work at the beginning, so when you actually do work for them, they may not even care about that as well, or they may not even, at the end of the project, they may even have forgotten your name. So, if you can get the money up front, great. That's another example of that I would say go for it. When you're in a pinch, we've all been in a pinch. If you're a freelancer, if you've lived through 2020, you've been in a pinch. You've probably had some gaps in your income. You probably have some gaps in projects. Sometimes you can't really choose. You can't really, I want to say you can't really pick your poison, but you kind of have to. You don't really. Sometimes when it comes to freelancing and content creation, you don't really have a choice. Sometimes you just say like, "Yep, sounds good enough." You don't really sound like the best kind of client, but let's make it work. And don't come off as desperate, but just kind of, if you're in a pinch, and they're kind of just all they care about is price, and the project is stupid simple enough, and you can get some reasonable payment terms up front to you, I say go for it. But always with this one, don't get sucked in. Don't get sucked into their price world, their budget conscious world, because these people sometimes can be pretty toxic clients, or again, the work that they may be offering is not that exciting, or if they're just so worried about budget conscious, then they probably don't care about the schedule, or care about you, or care about onboarding you, or filling you in, or making sure that you have all the information so you can actually go do the shoot. So don't get sucked into the bullshit. I want to say don't get sucked into the bullshit, but that's probably the biggest answer. Don't get sucked in. Be aware. Go into these projects with kind of like, you're kind of like looking over your shoulder a little bit, because if they just care about the price, they probably don't give a shit about you. And that is the sad truth sometimes. That we got to hear it, folks. We got to hear it, that the sad truth sometimes these clients don't give a shit about you. And that's the end of today. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, lesson number 4. Let's now talk about, so we've talked about the client side, what a price shopper is. Now we have to talk about something. Let's look in the mirror a little bit, folks. This is lesson number 4. We're going to talk about why you are here. Here it is. Why you attract shit. Because I love this saying all the time. I say this all the time. If everybody around you is an asshole, then you are probably the asshole. So if all the clients you have are budget conscious, all these clients are a pain in the ass, I hate these, all they care about is money, the first thing out of their mouth is how much do you charge, how much do you charge, how much do you charge? Well, you might need to look in the mirror, because maybe you're the cheap ass, or maybe you are the one that's attracting all these shitty clients because of how you are presenting your work, the types of referrals you're getting. Let's dive into it. And first, we're going to talk about the concept of vendor versus expert. What do you mean, Jordan? So a vendor, in simplest terms, is just a name on a list. It is, I started writing this, I was like, a vendor is, let's name some vendors, types of vendors. A vendor is IT. A vendor is the DJ, I'll think in terms of a wedding. DJ, the bartender, the catering company, the freaking delivery driver that delivers the folding white chairs. All these names are just names on a list. That's a vendor. It's like they are X company providing X work or whatever, or what X company providing Z work. That's what so a vendor is just a name on the list. A vendor is, in other words, a placeholder. Sometimes there are just coming from the wedding videography world, I have sadly been a vendor. I have sadly been a placeholder name where it's just like videographer, Valley Films LLC, Jordan Anderson. It's like, cool. Yep, that's me. And here's the sad truth, and that's kind of what it all distills down to, that a vendor is replaceable. It is, can you replace the caterer at the wedding and not really notice the difference? Probably. Can you replace the DJ at the wedding and not really notice a difference? Probably. Now, a live band, that's probably different. I would consider those people experts. But DJ, fat old white guy DJ versus fat midlife crisis DJ, probably the same. Probably very fungible. They're both just going to play the same crappy top 100 music. As a former DJ, I have bones to pick with DJs. Again, photographers. Sometimes photographers and videographers can fall into the vendor list because, from the client perspective, like especially in weddings, they don't really know what a good photo is. They don't really know what makes a good video. They just kind of like know about wedding photos or know what good wedding videos are or saw their friends, and they don't really know how to like distinguish like when, they can't really choose the expert or like decide like I said, at the grocery store, you look at two bananas, a bunch of bananas or a bunch of apples, and you can't really tell the difference because you're not really an apple expert or a banana expert, and it's not really your job to be that apple or banana expert. But this is where you start to, actually I'll pose this question now. So if a vendor is replaceable, now I need to ask these questions to you, because maybe you are a vendor and you don't know it. Maybe you're the ugly friend in your group of friends and they haven't told you yet. So let me kind of fill you in case you don't know. Number one, did clients find you on a board? Did they find you on Craigslist? Did they find you on some jobs board? Did they find you on Wedding Wire, The Knot? Were you the first name to pop up on Google? Number two, do they know your name? I've been to weddings, and the clients have probably not known my name or have forgotten my name. I've probably heard like, I think it was like in the commotion, you just kind of hear things. When you're a videographer, your job is to observe and watch people and document and film things that look interesting, or you got to kind of keep your head on a swivel. You see something interesting and you go film it. And so sometimes also too, you're kind of having to hear other people's conversations because you want to anticipate what's going to happen. And plenty of times I've heard the bride talk to the wedding planner and say, blah, 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 and then get the videographer to come over here. And you hear that, and you're like, okay, yeah, they don't even know my name. Damn it. So I am the vendor. Shit. So that's happened to me. I've been the vendor at weddings where they don't even know your name. And that was kind of my rub sometimes, too, with photographers, because it'd be like, damn, for this wedding photographer has this fucking intimate relationship with this bride, and then I'm like kind of the afterthought. I was always coming in as the wedding videographer being like, you don't even fucking know my name. We're like, damn, you've known her for 3 months, and y'all two have been going back and forth texting each other for the last 3 months, and you hired me 3 weeks ago? Shit. And you're like, damn, Jordan, I am the vendor. So I've been there. So don't worry. So don't get offended by this list. But if you're reading this list and you're like, shit, I might be the fucking vendor. Number 3, can you pinpoint why they hired you? Can you? Is it about the quality? Oh, we loved your work. We saw your work on this. Julie was at the wedding. She loved you filmed Julie's wedding. Can you pinpoint that? Or like, oh yeah, they said I was the best deal. They said I was a good price. Yeah, fuck no. All right, number 4, are you replaceable? If you got sick that night, if it was, the wedding's on Saturday, and for other videographers, photographers watching this that aren't in the wedding game, just kind of roll with me I'm using the wedding example because that's kind of who my target audience is, folks. So are you replaceable? So it's Friday night, the wedding is Saturday. Friday night you get sick and you gotta call out sick. You gotta call the bride, hey, don't mean to add a little bit more stress to your plate, but I am sick and I can't make it to the shoot tomorrow. So sorry. how replaceable do you think you'd be, or like how devastated would the client be? If the client wouldn't be that devastated, and they'd be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Hey, you know, the DJ can't make it tomorrow, so we'll just get another DJ, or you know, the caterer bounced out, or okay, oh, Darren the bartender's not gonna be there tomorrow, so I guess we'll get Sarah the bartender tomorrow. So it's like that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, you wouldn't even notice the difference. But if it's like, hey, my wedding photographer is not going to be there tomorrow, my wedding videographer is not going to be there tomorrow, shit. All right, damn it. Or my florist or my freaking wedding planner's not going to be there, like that. Those types of people have locked into the expert position, the expert relationship. And number 5, the last question to am I a vendor? Does the client understand the difference of what you offer? Is there something that they understand? Like, again, I'm not saying that these people are apples and bananas experts, but when they look at you and they look at your work and they say, I like what you do, and I can tell you're doing a great job, and I've looked at other people that do kind of the similar work to you that you do, and I gotta say, I like what you do, kid, and you're hired. That is like, can they articulate what it is? And that's kind of like what I said earlier, but can they articulate what it is that you do special, different, better than other people, better than other service providers? All right, we're rolling and we're chugging along, folks. This is some great stuff. I fucking love talking about this stuff. I can't tell you how much I love talking about this stuff. So, and look, we already have a typo here. You are, if you had, okay, to go back to that, if you had difficulty answering any of those questions, or if you answered any one of those a little bit difficult and go, shit, Jordan, I might be the vendor, I don't think I'm the expert in the expert position, then you, my friends, are interchangeable, you are fungible. Fungible. I just want to that should be like the title of the word, like fungible. What is fungible? Fungible is just an economic term. It just means you are interchangeable. It's like, mechanic to mechanic, whatever, photo booth guy versus other photo booth guy, DJ versus other DJ. All these people are fungible. Apples versus apples, rice versus rice, olive oil versus olive oil. You don't know the difference unless you are trained in these fucking fields. It's so hard to know the difference. So you are probably fungible, which means you're replaceable, which means, here we go, that the only differentiating thing that you have to offer as the vendor who is fungible is price. That's the only thing that you have to offer. That is the only thing that makes you different, is your price. So you have done nothing in your branding. You have done nothing in your website, in your case studies, in your reviews, in the sales conversations that you've had with your clients. You've done nothing to separate yourselves from the other people in your competitive space, in your same industry, so that all the client has to look at is you charge $1,000 and the other person charges $1,200. And that's okay, you're cheaper by $200. And guess what? You've now met your favorite price shopper, and it's your clients, and that's all that you have to. You've made your own bed. So if you find yourself that you're always dealing with price shoppers, and that you're always like, oh God, everyone, the first thing out of the mouth is always price shoppers. It might be you. I might have to do a little tough love today on this live stream, but you might be the reason why just people see you as this replaceable, fungible vendor who has a blank face, and it's just, it's the empty avatar, whatever icon. They just, I don't even know you. I don't even know your name. I already forgot your name. Okay, how much? What do you charge? What? Okay, yeah. That's all I care about, and that's all they can care about because they don't know the difference, and you haven't made it so that the client can understand those differences. You haven't put the kind of information on your website. You haven't created video content. You haven't made any kind of differentiating stuff, case studies, whatever it is, to say this is what I do. This is what I do special. This is my niche. This is my target audience. I don't serve these types of clients. I only serve these types of clients. I specialize in this type of work, and that's what makes me special. And therefore, I'm the only one who can do the exact job that you're looking for, which means I can charge more money and appear more valuable. And the conversation evolves from just talking about price and discounts and evolves into, What can we actually do together? What magical business, emotional, experiential product, service that I can provide for you? What is it that I can provide beyond just talking about, do you fit within this budget? Because if you boiled down the conversation to, do you fit within this budget, you are talking with a price shopper, you are living in price shopper world, and you are stuck. So you have to find a way to get unstuck. So that's where people always talk about branding. That's where people talk about elevating your status, becoming an expert, speaking about what you do, thinking about what you do, writing about what you do, making content, making videos about what it is that you do to show off how expert, how smart you are, how special you are. Because if you're just putting out work, putting out photos, like it's just, okay, cool, you're putting out wedding photos, great. Everybody else is putting out wedding photos. What makes this special? What makes this different? Because if it's not special and different, then no one gives a shit. Then you just become someone that they can just copy paste, autofill, find me, nearest photographer to this location, enter, choose the first search result. I don't care, book now. Who gives a shit? That's what it ends up being. And that's what you don't want to be. So, final point, you just have zero leverage. Like there's no, you have nothing to talk about. You have zero leverage. So thanks for watching, folks. That is today's lesson. That is why it is so critically important that you identify price shoppers. They're going to come your way. Every vendor, every service provider, photographer, content creator is going to run into a price shopper. We all run into price shoppers. Everyone is budget conscious. There's middle managers who are just looking for a good deal. There's people who only have a certain budget. To recap, you need to have the question answered. One of the questions that you need to ask your clients is, what budget are you trying to stay within? And if they can't answer that, if they dodge the question, if they say they're shopping around, if they give you a super low number, then they are probably not the right client for you. And if you had a choice, I would tell them, thanks very much. Have a good day. I'm sure you can find great options on Fiverr. Cool. So, my name is Jordan Anderson. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. Okay, that's a break now. Now we can cut. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching on Instagram Live. We are going to wrap it up here. Do we have any questions? Any YouTube questions? It's getting pretty hot and fiery towards the end. Whew. Okay, what did we miss? Oh, okay. If you're watching this, also, yeah, if you want to get better at pricing, if you want to understand how to raise your prices, how to elevate yourself to the expert position, I had this free guide for you guys to check out. It's totally free. Go to jordanpanderson.com/pricing. If you're on YouTube, it's in the description right below. jordanpanderson.com/pricing. It's a free guide for easy, actionable lessons for you guys to check out. And hope you guys enjoy. Thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. What are we doing tomorrow? Tomorrow's Saturday. I'm making gumbo. And then we're going to be back on Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time here on YouTube. And if you're watching on Instagram Live, then you got to switch over to YouTube to watch the full experience. Tell your friends, share this video, subscribe, like, and I will see you